Okay.
All right, here we go. Hi, everybody.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm Ethan Golia, and the gentleman to, I believe, my right is Zach Clark. We're the host of the Eternal Dirtles podcast, and we've been graciously asked to fill in for this round 5. So
Yeah,
thank you.
I was expecting Nate to say with me as always is Zach Clark.
That is true. I didn't want to overshadow what we do. So we are going to have Romario on Tess versus, I believe, Mr. Bonde on Death and Taxes. Is that correct, Zach? You might have to
I believe that is correct, yes.
Yeah. So we're going to take a look at Romario's Epic Storm list right here. So the difference, I mean, I'm sure this was gone over before, but of course, the difference here between this and, for example, Ad Nauseam Tendrils or Ant is the presence of high presence of red mana and Burning Wish. This deck is looking to go off fast.
Yeah, I mean, this looks like a pretty stock list for Tess, truthfully.
Yeah, I guess the big difference is that there's no green splash anymore. It looks like they're just going to depend on red and blue removal for any sort of hate card without having to worry about a card like Counterbalance out there.
Yeah, without needing Abrupt Decay, why make another color a problem, right?
Right. So let's see. He's got a Massacre here. That'll be a key card in this matchup with his 4 Burning Wish. In case that is relevant. I think that Romario here is going to be trying to win as soon as possible before Bonde sets up his House of Horrors.
Yeah, of course. I mean, getting in before Thalia is the way to go here, I think. Right. Afterwards, there's not a whole lot left to deal with. And now we've got Bonde's list. So again, pretty standard. I mean, you've got a couple of sneaky things in here with like Sanctum Prelate and the Palace Jailer.
Right, Sanctum Prelate. He's got 2 of them. That's a nice relevant card. It's not coming down until turn 3, so that is something to keep an eye on. It also should be noted that a Sanctum Prelate on 4 would also stop Massacre. So, in order to
a lot of things,
yeah. So, I guess 2 stops Burning Wish, which means he can't get the Massacre. So that's probably what he would do. So say he could go for Grape Shot, which would be locked out by 2. But
4 seems like the best way to go because you get rid of all of your win conditions that way. But we'll have to see.
All right, so it looks like we are ready to go here. Turn 1. I guess I could make the thing bigger, can't I? Instead of having to zoom in with my face. Looks like Michael's on the play.
All right.
This is an interesting hand for him. He did mulligan it. I was going to say Stoneforge Mystic is not the worst card to have in this matchup. Because if you get the Batterskull down, you might be able to balance out Goblins. Romario has all mana but no business other than this Gataxian Probe. But he has time, so
it's true. I mean, right now what we're looking on with Bonde's hand here is just a fast hand, which is good. Fast as far as the vials are concerned, which is good against a more controlling deck. But really, he doesn't have much action against the Storm deck right now. So I think Storm's in a good place.
Yeah, he did have the Phyrexian Revoker to name LED, but that's about to just eat it to this Cabal Therapy.
Yeah.
So Romario will still be digging for some action for a while. Looks like he just drew a land off that Gataxian Probe. So I imagine Michael, unless he draws Thalia, will play his second Vial and on his turn.
Yeah, it's funny because right now both these decks are in a weird spot where in the match, both these decks are in a weird spot where no one's really doing anything specific to the other player. So it's going to take somebody to draw into something and create a little pressure.
Yeah, just more mana here for Romario. And I don't know how much trouble he's still really in. We'll see what Michael draws here. The Flicker Wisp isn't super relevant in the matchup, though. This certainly is. So the port will be nice to take him off mana.
Yeah. Luckily, he's got tons of mana, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem right now.
Right, that's true. Wow, just keeps drawing mana, so.
Oof. Well, I mean, what can he draw? In the next couple of turns, it's going to put him in a situation where he's winning, even.
Romario or Michael?
Romario. I guess creating a bunch of goblins is good, right?
Yeah, he needs a Burning Wish pretty bad. He can definitely go off with it. He'll have more than enough mana.
Yeah.
So one thing Michael can do if Romario decides to run out this Chrome Mox, he could Flicker Wisp the Chrome Mox, but it looks like he's just going to. Oh, I see what he's going to do. Oh, maybe he didn't do what I thought he was going to do. I was going to say he should tap all of his lands, although Flicker one that wouldn't work to cast Batterskull, so never mind. So this is actually a good play. Takes a land out of Romario's hand.
So looks like. Yeah, let's see what happens here. It doesn't look like much is going on between the two of them with just basically mana sources right now on both sides of the board.
This is about to be a significant amount of pressure.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you have to hard cast a Batterskull to get things going, right?
I mean, he's got nothing else to do, so there's no use in like bluffing. I guess he could have been bluffing something like Sanctum Prelate with Burning Wish on the stack or something, but Romario hasn't cast a cantrip in this game, so other than the Gitaxian Probe, but yeah.
Yeah, Bonde seems like he's in a good spot. I think, unless he rips a Burning Wish, Romario's gonna have a real tough time coming back at this point, and that's pretty much gonna be a real problem.
So the interesting thing about Sanctum Prelate here is that he can wait until something like Burning Wish is on the stack, and then
just throw it in, right? Oh, we've got a Ponder. That should be nice. See what we can unload here. Rough.
This is gonna be shuffled back.
Yeah, we get a Lion's Eye Diamond. Come on. Well,
like the shuffle graphic.
Yeah. So I guess we're gonna be going right into game 2 here.
If you had told me D&T wins game 1, I would not have guessed that was the way it happened.
Yeah. So what do you think? I mean, I feel like if I was on Storm, I would want to bring in some number of Chain of Vapor, just to get Thalia off the board and then like go. But I don't know. What do you think?
I think we'll see. Looks like he brought in the Chain of Vapors. It did not look like he brought in the Echoing Truth. Keep Massacre the board as a wish target. You end up with more of them that way.
Yep.
Looks like he boarded out his Duresses. That's pretty good. That's not going to hit anything of relevance.
And looks like the slower stuff is coming out of Bonde's list. You got the Jailer's not that big of a deal. You don't want to gain like incremental card advantage against this against the Storm deck. The Mirrodin Crusaders out.
All the Swords of Plowshares are out.
Yeah.
But he's got some nice board cards here. Fairy Macabre, Rest in Peace. Rest in Peace isn't super relevant with tasks like it is with Ant, but he could still try for Past in Flames.
And of course, the Aethersworn Canonist as well.
Yeah, actually does not look like Romario has Past in Flames. He does have Cabal Therapy, and there's no Cabal Ritual. So, yeah, the Rest in Peace isn't really relevant here, but it's 1 out of 60 cards.
All right. Oh, okay. We got some action in the Storm hand, but doesn't look like a lot he can do with it immediately.
Yeah, he could go land Ritual. Yeah, that's not. Yeah, that wasn't happening.
On the other hand, Bonde's opener looks pretty sweet.
Yeah, Bonde's stacked here. He's got Ether Vial and support.
Oh, there we go. Just call Thalia, right?
That is probably the right play. And then you could Infernal Tutor for a Dark Ritual to get another Ritual. He might even want to do that twice if there's no pressure. And then he can just Ritual Burning Wish to start getting things going if he needs to.
Yep.
I mean, he's going to need some other stuff to beyond that, but.
So what did he call?
He didn't. That was a scry. His Cabal Therapy.
Oh.
So I'm gonna. Oh, and he scryed it to the bottom. So
that's rough. He might still have a chance here.
He could Burning Wish for Massacre and go for the win through Infernal Tutor since he has 2 of them.
Yeah.
You
just Infernal Tutor, 2 Infernal Tutor, 2 Infernal Tutor, and go that way, right?
I would be thinking I'm going to Infernal Tutor for another Dark Ritual, and that is what he is doing.
Oh, there you go.
So now you've got some engine capabilities here. I guess what you really don't want is to get wasted or ported off red. He might not need to play another land this game.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think you want to pay that mana and get rid of Thalia right away, right?
Well, he's not really in a rush. Nope, looks like that is what he's doing.
You can't get rid of her immediately. You're going to have to wait a turn. Oh, maybe not.
He chose not to.
Oh, maybe he is choosing to. So if he gets the Massacre here, he's got to wait a turn to cast it because he obviously can't play the Mox. He's going to have to pay 1 mana for the Mox anyhow.
Yeah.
So he's going to wait a turn, which isn't that big a deal. There's no pressure on him. 2 points of damage isn't going to change the game for him that much.
Oh, he does have a Past in Flames in the sideboard, so
yeah.
I wonder. I'm sure that's not going to come in against the potential Rest in Peace unless he really needs it.
Yeah. Now it's like, going up to 2 on the Vial. I mean, like, there's nothing that's going to say the Vial on 2 anyhow, so I think he's safe. If he didn't know it was in the hand, he's safe to cast that Massacre anyhow, just to get her off the board. Good call. Yeah, Massacre actually is going to cost 4 mana without the planes in play, so that's something I don't know.
Yeah, we did
thought about before. And it depends on if he plays one. He might not play one, knowing that he just probably went for a Massacre, right?
Yeah, that's definitely the truth here. Good call. We definitely missed that. I'm just trying to think if he wants to staple this Massacre to a Chrome Mox. He's not going to be able to get out of it with Tendrils. I don't know if it's in his. I don't think it's in his main deck.
Well,
he's at 14. You could start. Well, you're not going to have much of a storm count, but
yeah, no. Yeah, as long as that Thalia is on the board, things are going to be looking pretty tough for him. So he needs to figure out a way to get Thalia off the board, and the port's not helping anything for sure.
Michael's actually in this funny position where he has to choose whether or not to play a port or a plane so he can activate his second port. That also turns on Massacre.
True. I mean, obviously he can't play a second Caracas. He'll have to get rid of one, being that's legendary. So there might be some pressure to drop that planes, but I think right now he's sitting pretty.
Well, yeah, I mean, the theory would be if he feels like Romario isn't drawing lands, he would be able to tap down both of his lands in his upkeep. He would not be able to cast Massacre in his main phase, but there's nothing really that he needs to worry about here. He's just going to keep attacking with this Thalia.
I was kind of surprised he didn't just pay a mana to throw down the Lotus Petal, just to maybe have access to that mana. But obviously, it's going to help for a storm count too. So, there's pressure there on either side of that equation.
This is just pretty much a Flicker Wisp for
damage, right? Yeah.
And then he's going to get his Caracas back, which will allow him to save Thalia in the event that this Massacre does go off for somehow, which Romario could set up like a Lotus Petal turn just to get them, just to 2-for-1 him. It's a 5. He's got 5. I'm sure he feels like that Michael is holding a planes.
Yeah, for sure. The real problem now is even if he gets that Massacre off, with the Violon 2, he can save Thalia, throw Thalia right back in play, as he's trying to go off. So that's really it's a dry play.
Yeah, he's got to cast this Brainstorm soon and see if he can find Chain of Vapor. And it's not where you want to be. Chain of Vapor, the Ether Vial, then Massacre Thalia for lots of, and then like Ritual Massacre too. Like not even like a free Massacre. So
yeah, it looks like it's going to be a quick one. Yeah. Romario has some outs, but they're very few and far between, and we're talking about runner at least 2 cards in a row that he's really going to need off that Brainstorm if he casts the Brainstorm even. Actually, I think I would the next time I get ported if I was him.
I think he's trying to think if he can empty his hand and do something with Infernal Tutor. I didn't see if he had a Tendrils in his main deck. I don't think he does. So let's see. Chrome Mox, Stapling Massacre, tapping the. Well, he could use the island. Yeah, he could use a turn here to set up. Like he could Brainstorm and then cast the Chrome Mox, and then next turn he might be able to empty his hand in Infernal Tutor for Empty the Warrens and get some goblins to block this Thalia, though that's not going to help against the Flicker Wisp.
Yeah, it's not great. The nice thing is though, on the other side of the board is that he just keeps drawing these planes, which is sort of ironic because he doesn't obviously want to play them at all anyhow. But they're also not creatures that he could be using to clock in.
Yeah.
So it looks
Romario
like
he did not see his hand this turn or in this game, so he doesn't know that he's holding planes. But I think he has to assume he is.
Yeah, it's at least one, right? You got to assume at 4 cards and plenty of ways to get things out of your hand. Your opponent's sitting on some land at this point.
Yeah.
So it looks like he's just counting off to see what he can pull off. He may just decide to cast Massacre just to get the Flicker Wisp off the board.
Yeah, I'm trying to count that myself. I always get messed up when there's a Thalia. He can ritual fetch Massacre.
Yeah, it's just
Thalia gets bounced.
That's probably a worst case scenario. I mean, you need to basically at that point you need to go off with Past in Flames afterwards, right?
Well, he has plenty of ways to, get like a Lion's Eye Diamond or his Rite of Flame lines could come in. But...
For sure. What I'm saying is that he won't have enough cards in his hand to actually kick up a storm count.
Well, what he's really in trouble is with that the Flicker Wisp having flying. As long as he can get that off the table, like he can block Thalia if he makes a zillion goblins and then go for a second line later.
True.
Cleaning up with like a Tendrils off a Burning Wish.
Fortunately, his Brainstorm really didn't pan out. He didn't get any action at all. Just more mana.
Well, he does have a replacement land, so any port or a port and a wasteland here is gonna hurt. This Stoneforge Mystic is like one. This thing's coming down next turn, so he's definitely gonna have to try and massacre this turn to get some amount of the pressure off.
Yeah.
But then the Stoneforge is gonna come down at end step. And a Thalia wearing a Sword of Fire and Ice would be lethal. Though he would not. He would be able to play a planes if the Massacre's out of his hand too. So he definitely has that line. Michael does. My apologies.
Yeah, unfortunately, Michael doesn't need lines right now. He's doing just fine. Yeah. To get this match to go on for a little bit longer, Romario has to draw something, and he knows what the top 2 cards of his deck are. I don't think there's a whole lot he can do to get out of this. He would need. I think he can almost get to a point where if he draws, yeah, he's gonna have to Massacre. Here it is. Man, It's the Black Pyretic Ritual right now.
Yeah.
And then he's gonna have to. It's such a bummer to watch this because you know, watching on our end, we can tell that this is not going to pan out for him.
Well, maybe he does have this interesting potential line with Rite of Flame, where he will have a mana left over.
Oh yeah, okay.
So now, the problem is just that he doesn't know this, but the Stoneforge just puts him dead.
Yeah, he might be able to get everything off the board and tutor for something worthwhile to have, but I don't know if there's anything he can grab from his deck after he uses all this mana and
he
cast.
just concedes. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was fast.
It was fast. I was telling my wife, like, I should be down in a few minutes. You know, one of these decks is pretty fast. So, well,
Not
we want to say.
It was going to go, actually.
I'm sorry.
Not the way we thought it was going to go.
Yeah, I thought Romario would win at least one game there, especially since he was on the play, I believe, in game one. But just the hands didn't really come together for him. I think he mauled a 6 in both games, had a lot of mana. And you know, Michael just you know, very smartly not playing his planes into that massacre.
It's one of the things we have been saying lately, though, is that you know, moving away from miracles, you're going to see a lot more combo, and D&T is a deck that people just aren't going to jump off of.
No, definitely not. I think in the next round, Romario is playing again, and I believe he is playing against Anurag, who is on the blue-white-red. Oh no, I was totally wrong. My bad. No, was I right? Romario versus Anurag. Yep, versus Nightmare. Sorry, I'm reading our notes. We're amateurs here. We're not amateurs on our podcast though, which you can find at hipstersofthecoast.com and on iTunes, Eternal Dirtles. Anything else you want to say, Zach? And wrapping up.
No, I mean, you know, it was exciting to watch. It was a bummer that there wasn't a little more interaction, and that the draws weren't a little bit better for Romario. But you know, them's the breaks with Storm versus D&T. Sometimes D&T can just stop you with a Thalia.
Want to again thank Julian and the Legacy Premier League, Tim, our buddy, for suggesting us, and go Tim, and hit when he gets into the wild card round.
Yeah, man, good luck.
Thanks to Mike for all of his help setting up the stream and stuff. This is a pretty cool experience. So until next time, I guess we got round 6 coming up. So please stick around. Thanks, everybody.
Yep. Thank you.
Bye.